Most people hijack their relationships before they even begin because they're terrified of being rejected. So they only show what they think it's likable and hide the parts they believe are not lovable. But that strategy always creates exactly what they fear the most: internal rejection. So they hide the parts of themselves and sending a clear message to the subconscious mind: this part is not acceptable. Which means even if the other person does not reject that part, the subconscious mind creates the reality of this part is rejected. And it creates the feeling of feeling rejected. That leads also to losing connection to themselves and blocking a deeper connection which we crave. When depression hit me, I didn't know how to deal with it, and it destroyed my self-image. I didn't even know how to accept that part. I didn't even wanted it to exist. I thought it's dark, it's not who I am, because I saw myself as a smiling, happy person, and that was my whole identity, my whole life. So I didn't let my ex-boyfriend or other friends even coming close to that part. And here's what happened. I blocked him and everyone out, not knowing how to support that part. I didn't even know how to support that part. And it ended in him feeling rejection for that part, which only confirmed my truth that it's not acceptable, while I created it by never giving access to it. I communicated, this is unsafe, this is unacceptable, and he mirrored it by my belief. This is how most relationships collapse from the inside out. And my turning point wasn't therapy. We don't need to self-analyze where rejection comes from ours. We just need to step in it. It was when I was applying on acting schools, and every rejection released this part of fear by stepping and facing it every time. I treated every rejection as data, not my identity or not my self-worth. And here's the mind shift that changes everything. My job is not to be chosen. My job is to reveal my truth. And I choose the school, not the school chooses me. That's also a big turning belief in relationships, when we realize I choose my partner, not my partner chooses me. Not from a place from I'm more worth than him or she, but from a place of I know what I want. And my biggest growth came from this one standard. A great actor is someone who isn't ashamed of being ugly. Ugly crying, making ugly faces, just being ugly in every self-expression, because that's what resonates most with people. Showing the parts we were blamed to hide, like I'm super clumsy, for example, and my mother used to hit me for it, and this created a little fear of showing that I'm clumsy, but I am still clumsy. And every time I went to acting school, I was drinking my coffee in the morning, and I always had coffee spilled over my clothes, and that became just like a branding of myself. Everyone knew I'm the clumsy one who has coffee and was on her coffee stains on her clothes and was drinking coffee before she came to school. So once you allow to feel every feelings, the part of fear of rejection loses this leverage, because rejection only hurts when we try to control the perception of other people, which is uncontrollable anyways, because people have their own belief systems and their own perception, and it's out of our control. You become untouchable when you do not make rejection about your identity, but more about data. So here are actionable tips you can take for dating, which is what I do. First, show the parts you want to hide first. not to overshare, which is what I do by times, but when you never done it, when you do it step by step and you feel it's safe to show this part, it signals to your subconscious mind, this is allowed. This part of myself is safe. It's safe to show this part. It's not rejected, it's accepted, which creates more confidence in showing more of these parts. Second one, stop pre-editing your personality, which means stop trying to be someone you're not, or trying to be someone you think is likable. People bond with truth, not with a perfect image. Third, let emotions be witnessed without apology or collapsing, and not with trauma bonding. This is not being dramatic, which I can be by times. Pretty dramatic. It's an actor. But it's about being accessible, like from your feelings to be accessed, to be felt, so someone can hold something to grip on. Because most people are so flat, there's nothing to hold on. It's like when someone asks, how are you? And you just say good. There's no rubbing point. So fourth, audit your internal rejection patterns. If you reject yourself internally, you will interpret every neutral sign as a threat. Which means, for example, I say things often just neutral as they are without putting a good or bad thing in there, because I just don't do this. But many people hear it as a threat or as a judgment because they judge themselves internally. And when we audit that internal, like when someone tries to degrade me, I often don't even feel degraded because I don't degrade myself and I don't do that with others. So when we shift it internally, we don't feel it. Fifth, shift from performance mode to connection. When the focus is on connection, we stop performing, but we focus more on what drives connection. What do I have to do to connect instead of perform to be liked? Because people fall in love with the parts of you trying to hide the most. The perceived flaws we think are flaws are actually the very thing that makes other people fall in love with you, because it makes you unique. And once you show them, your nervous system feels even more safe to show them. This is how you build relationships that feel safe, grounded, and deeply connected, not just surface level, which most people drive on a surface level and then feel flat and are surprised why there's no intimacy when it's just nothing, there's no grit or nothing rubbing on. So you can't manage perception of other people, and if you try, you're only going to fail and you're not going to like yourself in the process. You can only create intimacy, but you can't do both. And if you want to build a relationship where you don't perform or refuse, then start by refusing to reject yourself internally, and that will also lead to real confidence.